This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
This episode of Beers in the Lot is brought to you by these network sponsors.
Shouldn't having conversations with your money be easy? Easier than counting the planets, at least. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Oh, what happened to Pluto? Did it offend someone? F&M Trust is here to help you have better conversations with your money. Go bank it easy at fmtrust.bank.
What's up, everybody? It's episode 127 of Beers in the Lot. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. We were sure having fun on Monday night when we recorded this. We'll get into it in just a second here, but first let me remind you about our merchandise store at beersandlot.com/shop. Go check it out. And the Discord at beersandlot.com/Discord. I promise it's not just for Fortnite. It's like all the best things from group texts without any green message drama or BS like that. Come jump in and join our conversation. All right, so if you're the type who likes to skip the intros and be surprised about what we talk about, hit your skip button now, because in this one, we talked about how Jacob Trouba tried to flying elbow Armia. We talked about the situation up in Vancouver, and we touched on the star player window for the Stanley Cup. So here we go. Let's crack the beer? Question mark?
There we go. As I spill all over myself.
I can't see how you wouldn't with that thing.
I was wondering how you were going to pour that.
Yeah.
A little difficult sitting in the couch, yeah.
Yeah. So without further ado, Riggs, what the hell is going on over there?
Did you pull out the whole kegerator?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so for Christmas, my wife got me a growler that is pressurized and tapped. So it looks like a mini little keg. It's 64 ounces growler, and it has a tap system on it, just like you would, tap a normal size keg. It has a little CO2 cartridge on it to keep it under pressure. So I went and got it filled at a local beer store with Thick and Thin, which is a brewery up in Hagerstown. Their Staycation, which is a West Coast style IPA, and the caps are scored. Perfect timing.
Sick.
So yes, I am very excited to have this growler with the tap on it. It's so cool. It is so much fun to go into the fridge and pull the handle and get beer out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's portable, so I was kind of thinking.
You brought it to the couch.
Yeah, I did bring it to the couch. I tried to get the pouring sound. I don't know if it came through. We'll find out in the edit. Probably not.
Does it come with like CO2 cartridges?
No, you have to get those, but
You have to buy. Yeah, because
I got 10 of them for $16 on Amazon.
yeah, they're
right?
cheap.
And it's the same.
Those little cartridges are easy to find.
Yeah,
Have
and
you-
it's the same. It's the same ones you use like restaurants use in their whipped cream dispenser and seltzer
Yep.
dispensers and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I'm more like, how long do they last? Have you had to change it out yet?
The thing said it will last like 4 liters of beer or something like that. And I think 64 ounces is just short of 2 liters or something. So it'll
2
last a
farvas
while.
Of beer.
Yeah, I don't know
2
how to do all the
farvas.
conversions, but
Farvas.
yeah, but it's just fun. And also, if there's stuff that's only on tap, I've got a nice growler. Beer will last in there for like 2 months, so that's
Nice.
cool. Yeah. But enough about that. Enough about this contraption. Johnny, what do you have? It's not beer. I know that.
It's not. I have Bullet Bourbon. Just standard stuff tonight. What about you, Aaron?
I also have a Bullet product. I've got Bullet's 95 rye. I'm drinking it on the rocks. Rye on the rocks. How about you, Daniel? What you got?
So I don't have anything interesting tonight. It's just a beer. I mean, compared to you guys. I have from Big Oyster Brewery, Hammerhead IPA. It's a West Coast style IPA.
Nice.
Just had a sip of it, and it is tasty.
It's more important than anything. You just
Yeah.
want something you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Enjoy this.
Yeah.
So what are we going to get into tonight?
I want to know about your favorite hockey player, Daniel.
The one up in New York?
Yeah, the captain of the
With
Rags.
the sharp elbows?
Yeah.
We got to do this again.
Well, you're the one who's generally the most outspoken about him.
We are, of course, referring to Mr. Trouba of Ranger Employ. And some of his latest exploits have made it to the internet today on Monday. The video that we were looking at was from the game against Montreal, where Trouba basically tried to flying elbow the Montreal player. I forget who it was, but
Armia.
And then got him in like the ribs or something. Like, I'm not sure what he was really doing. It's kind of unclear.
That's the only thing about that one. At least he wasn't going for the head on that one. But it still needed to be a penalty. It still should have been an elbowing penalty because he missed his guy basically and was like, well, this is open.
Right.
But I don't think anything else should have came out of that one, but he just constantly does it.
He's a frequent flyer.
Yeah.
Why is the NHL not looking into him at all? Like, they're just like, yeah, whatever. It's just, captain of the Rangers. Like, why?
He just plays on the edge.
Yeah.
He wants to make the other players hate playing against him. Like, yeah, I'd hate playing against somebody who's trying to injure me all the time.
What aggravates me about it is, like, you could see on that play specifically, and actually, like, it's a theme in some of the Jacob Trouba attempted hits, or actually when he connects, he is stepping up to make a hit, and then he gets caught out of position because a player has their head up and they're aware. So they move either side to side or, by him one way or the other. And he extends his elbow each time to make contact.
Mm-hmm.
So it's him trying to like catch himself. That one on the Armia play, it's like that was the only piece he can grab him. So he just kind of got him right above. And anyone that plays or has a, familiar with hockey equipment, it's right above the hip pad. So that's like, there are some NHL players that almost wear like the lacrosse style or football pad type, you could call them kind of rib or stomach protection, however you want to label it. There are a few guys that wear that, but not everyone does. Armia clearly didn't or doesn't have anything there. I mean, so like that's all like organs in that area too. Like that, I mean, where's Bill Cutting when you need him? Like, this is a wound. Like, that's essentially, like, I mean, he got him right in, what were we saying? Like liver or kidney, I guess, somewhere around there. Like
that area.
Yeah, it looked painful.
I mean, he dropped right to the ice.
Yeah.
When you sent it to us on Discord, you said this is a MMA.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I was like, yes, that is a elbow strike to the body. Like, he didn't like swing his arm around. He just skated into him and stuck his elbow out, and as he went by him, just clipped his body.
Those guys are going so fast, so like you don't need to do the full.
No, you don't need to
swing
do a lot.
like by
yeah. You don't need all the torque, right? You don't
Doesn't
need
take
to
much.
get into it. You just got to skate into the guy.
Two guys moving about 20 miles an hour. It's like getting hit by an elbow at 40 miles an hour. Like it's gonna hurt.
Imagine if McDavid just decided to like skate down the ice and bow people in the
30
head.
miles an hour.
Just like.
But I don't think, as in other incidents, I don't think he was going for the head. I think he was just trying to get any piece that he could, because like you said, Johnny, he was out of position going for the contact. He was just trying to get a chunk, and that's what he could get. And when I went out on the web to look for, I basically put into the search engine Jacob Trouba dirty, those 3 words. and the videos that came up, the one that really struck out to me was when he missed Andre Palat last year. He missed him. He like tried to like Superman into Palat right outside the blue line with his right elbow extended. So it's clearly a habit, and all players have habits. Whether it's how they hit people, whether it's the patterns that they skate on the ice, where they shoot from, where they pass from, they all have these little tendencies. And that's clearly one of his, is that he's going to come at you with that right shoulder, right arm, right elbow. And the other thing that's striking to me is his stick positioning when he does this stuff. It's almost like his left arm flails out and he has no intent of making any kind of like hockey play. He has no intent of getting possession of the puck or anything like that. It's literally, I'm going to hit you with this right side of my body, and my left side is completely useless almost.
Yeah, right.
It's what it looks like.
Just for a little context here, you said that you Googled Jacob Trouba dirty.
Yes.
I just looked up who was the Lady Bing winner of 2022, and that is Kyle Connor. And I put in to the search engine Kyle Connor dirty. And I did not get anything except for some dirty plays that he made, as in like nasty goals, and he was dirty
skill.
between the skill dirty, like nasty. Or there's one that was one of the hits is that it was Kyle Clifford got a 5-minute major for hitting Kyle Connor. So yeah, so you don't get videos of flying elbows when you just put in dirty after any given player, but for Jacob Trouba you do.
Yes.
So that seems kind of telling
a lot
as well. You get a lot of videos too.
What annoys me kind of is like, I understand to some extent, like Rangers fans, like kind of defending him to some extent, like he's trying to be physical, he's trying to make plays, get the guys going, whatever. But like, I am more shocked at some of the other people you see like that are like, oh, he's just being tough. He's like, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you are insane. Like, I'm not putting him in the same category. So like, when Ovi had a lot of his disciplinary stuff, Ovi was always attempting to hit somewhere from behind, somewhere a little high, but like there was a clear pattern where Ovi, and he never essentially like led with an elbow. He was always shoulder. Sometimes he got head contact. Sometimes it was from behind. And I think he did end up getting suspended once, right? Correct?
A couple times.
Yeah. But like each time it was like clear what he was trying to do. He was trying to hit, lead with speed, all that stuff. And then if you even think like another guy like Kyle Clifford, like not picking on him, but like he got suspended somewhat recently, like what was it, last year against Tampa. He had a guy in the numbers, but it was like clear what he was trying to do. He was trying to like, set a message, play hard, all that stuff. Like Jacob Trouba, like, I'm sorry, like I don't know what he tries to do. I mean, I think Athanasiou kind of like dinged it on the button a few weeks ago. We mentioned it actually, like he gets paid $8 million. He only has one goal at this point. So like I don't know what he's doing. That goal did come against Chicago like a week later, which is kind of funny, but like I just like
So if you just take what happened with him and Armia, it was yesterday, right? It's a Sunday game, mid-season Sunday game.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, what message is he trying to send?
Nothing.
What is he doing? What could
he's
that
a sack of
possibly-
shit.
Nothing game.
That's the message.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not like playoffs or whatever where I could see where the intensity is ratcheted up and you're probably going to do some things that you normally wouldn't do, whatever. Okay.
Montreal's at the bottom of the table in the Atlantic.
Who
like
cares,
they're not
right?
going to meet in the playoffs.
Right. So
there's no messages being sent.
So it's just a normal mid-season Sunday afternoon game, and he's out here running around extending his elbow trying to take a piece of a guy. So there's that. Then you go look at the NHL rule book, which, by the way, if you go search NHL rule book on the internet, you can't download it from an NHL.com page. You have
easier
to
to find the CBA than the NHL rule
you
book.
have to, yes, it is.
I
It is.
know.
It is. Or the esports rule book. It's easier to find that on the NHL.com pages.
That's important.
I had to go to scoutingtherefs.com to get the official NHL rule book in a downloadable PDF. Thank you, scoutingtherefs.com. They probably don't listen, but whatever. If you go to rule 45. 1. Is that it?
Yeah, 45-1. Yep.
45-1 is the elbowing. It is extending the elbow. That's the only criteria, whether it's an injury or not. The only criteria is that you extend the elbow and contact another player. That's it. That's the only criteria.
It means the use of an extended elbow in a manner that may or may not cause injury. That's the definition of elbowing.
Right.
So what Trouba did.
It's at least a minor. It's at least a minor.
Yep.
Then it's up to the official's discretion whether or not it's a major or a match or, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, but there are some hard rules about head contact. If it's head contact, then it's probably going to be a major and misconduct, depending on the severity and all that good stuff, right? And then there's supplementary discipline, which all of the supplementary discipline, every single rule, I'm pretty sure says it's up to the discretion of the commissioner in the league, whether they look at it and they do anything about it. So I think what we're saying is DOPS should probably look at this one and say something.
See something, say something.
Right.
What also kind of annoys me about the Jacob Trouba thing is there are certain teams he acts out against and others he doesn't. So like he wouldn't do this shit against like the St. Louis Blues because I think he knows like the guys they have on that team like will jump his ass. But he's going to go do it to like, Montreal where they're a very young team, way more skill and talent laden than, tough bodies. If Shea Weber was still skating on that team, I'm willing to bet Trouba would not have done that. Yeah. Because Shea Weber would have buried him,
taking him to
in
task,
Montreal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, he did it a few weeks against like a team like Chicago, same kind of thing, younger team. They have no big bodies. He's not doing that against a Minnesota Wild.
Not anymore.
No. Not anymore.
Since his
that's kind of the thing.
His buddy Reeves is up there now.
Yeah. But I think it's also kind of funny because remember how a few years ago, like they were complaining that, the Caps ragdolled that team and then they got some jagoff named Jacob Trouba, who's doing the same stuff. I'm like, all right, it's one thing if you have like a Ryan Reeves, for example, who can contribute a little bit in terms of decent fourth line minutes, but then he's also that deterrent. Like if you got a guy on the other team acting up, Ryan Reeves is going to go out there, and Ryan Reeves also will hit too. So like he doesn't necessarily need to go after that guy. He can hit some of your other third and second and first line guys, keep them honest essentially. But like then Trouba's doing this. It's like, come on, like you can't, it aggravates me because it's like you cry foul and then only 2 years later, this is what you're doing.
And you're defending it.
It. It's like, I mean, the way this ends, though, it's like all those guys that kind of step over the line, the habitual line steppers, it'll end up like the Matt Cook situation. Matt Cook kind of was like very questionable, did some unsavory things, and then Evander Kane one-punched his ass. And you really didn't hear much from Matt Cook since then. Because I think he realized he's like, shit, like I can't. I mean, Matt Cook obviously was a tough guy, but like I said, did some very unsavory things. Like, so that happens once, all those guys, they kind of get brought back to earth a little bit. So we'll see. I would like to see somebody just like feed him. So
yeah, really.
Maybe it'll happen at some point. He'll probably dislocate his elbow in practice or something, reaching for a play or something, you know what I
mean? So. You think the NHL guys talk about that?
Yes, I'm sure they do. Because a few years ago, PK got fined for kind of like his leg position. And it was kind of, and I like PK Subban on and off the ice. He did put himself in terms of his leg placement in very compromising situations where.
Well, all right.
Sometimes it was a slew foot.
A lot of times,
dude. Yeah. But you also got to remember sometimes, but I'm saying sometimes he did have his legs kind of in a awkward position and was trying to make, a stick play, but because of where his legs were. And I'm sure PK is good enough to kind of figure out what he's doing. So at one point he did get fined. And then like maybe a few weeks later, there was a situation where he just got tangled with the guy. The guy fell awkwardly because of where they were on the ice turning. PK did nothing wrong, but everyone was bagging on him just because he had a reputation.
It's a reputation. Yeah.
It's a reputation thing. You don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Same day that Nick Foligno's caught on a hot mic, oh, then I'll go pound his face in next time. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's great. I'm all about talking to the refs about what I should do to other players. So I love it.
All right, let's take a quick break and hear from our network sponsors.
Shouldn't having conversations with your money be easy? Certainly easier than spelling conscientious right on the first try. C-O-N-S-H, nope, S-I. S-C? Oh, that C's moonlighting as an H. F&M Trust is here to help you have better conversations with your money. Our investment and trust services team can help make your retirement dreams a reality. Go bank it easy at fmtrust.bank. Let's check the British spelling.
How many days till Wally Fest?
17.
17.
As we record, it's 17. When this episode drops, it will be 15.
There we go. It's coming
Too
up
many.
quick.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Basically 2 weeks. Yeah. I am really looking forward to this. This is going to be a blast. They released all the music for the Wally Fest that's going on, and I don't recognize any of them, but it seems like it's going to be a good time.
It's all local Northeast Pennsylvania bands.
Right,
Who the hell knows who they are? If they're any good, it doesn't matter.
Half of them are going to be cover bands, and they're going to play a song that we're going to love. Like, it's going to be great.
And we'll be screaming it at the top of our lungs as we do.
They did put out an ice update. I think they only had like 4.5 inches at one spot there. So
they're down, but it's holding. They're down, but it's holding. They had a guy out there actually standing on the ice.
Yeah,
I watched the video. Right, he was punching the hole through. He was standing on the ice, punching the hole through. So there's enough to
support a human. Yeah.
So, and it looks like the weather's going to turn here up there and get colder. So hopefully the ice builds up and we're good to go.
Cold weather, we'll be set. That's sounds promising.
Great band. It's a bad band. Doesn't matter. It's like pizza, baby. It's all good, right? It's all good. It's all good.
Dude,
come on,
dude. I told you guys today, hockey, beer, and live music. Like
you can't go wrong.
It's gonna be sick. And then everything else going on around there, like it's gonna be awesome.
Just looking here, it's supposed to drop in the 20s towards the end of the month, and then in the teens as the low. So
nice.
I think it'll be all right. Yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, they should get some ice build up out of that.
Ends are gonna need some turtlenecks.
I'll be all right.
Just wanted to offer,
Be all right. Be all right. We'll be skating. Be all right. Don't need to look like Tomasz Plekanec or whatever his name was.
Or Alexei Kovalev, or Gretzky, or Lemieux.
Well,
actually, there was a few years ago. I forget. Oh man, like some of the players at Ottawa Senators. I'm sure I can find the picture. Ottawa Senators training camp. A bunch of them wore the turtlenecks, and they're like, "Where do you find them?" And some of the players like joking, like, "Yeah, they ran out of like the long sleeve stuff. This is all they had. I guess it was left over from like Alexei Yashin days. Like they just had it still there." I was like,
yeah, man,
that's great.
And actually, I want to say maybe it was Montreal. Like they came back to like honor him or whatever, and all the players during warm up had turtlenecks on, like just to mess with it a little bit. I thought that was that's a nice touch.
That's good.
Yeah, those are always interesting.
Ovi tied Mike Gartner for most 30 goal seasons. I saw that recently.
Yes,
right.
17
with 17. Yeah,
17.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a good record.
I think it's like every week. It's like Ovi did this record.
Ovi
got this.
He's kind of in that. He's kind of in that territory now, though.
Yeah.
He's in that. He's in that territory.
He's like 3 or 4 empty net goals away from breaking Gretzky's empty net goal record.
Stop the madness. Stop it. That's the record Gretzky was talking about. He's like, "Oh, I wasn't talking about my like 890." 890.
I'm sure it's gonna be
it was the empty net one. Yeah.
He's definitely gonna get 56 empty netters.
Actually, I think as we record today, I think today is the 17th anniversary of the
goal.
rookie year. Yeah, the goal, the one he'll be remembered from, even though he'll score, he's already 800 others. The on the ice behind the back, against Phoenix. Gretzky was actually coached that game.
Against the Gretzky coach.
Against the Gretzky coach.
Yeah.
Coyotes, yes.
And I think Tocchet was the assistant. Tocchet was an assistant as well, too.
I'm pretty sure he was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
soon to be Vancouver head coach, apparently. But if you if you believe
Boudreaux, he's now president of hockey operations. Jim Rutherford had a awesome press conference this morning.
Was it awesome? I thought.
Well,
it
depends how you look at
it.
It depends how you look at it. Depends how you look
to
at
watch.
I like Jim
for the organization.
So-
entertaining. Yes, entertaining for sure. Yes.
I like Jim Rutherford because he speaks his mind, and you don't get that a lot. You get a lot of like the nonsense, cliche stuff. So the two things that stuck out are three. Bruce Boudreaux, he's our coach now. Great.
Now.
That's awesome. Like now, as in like the only thing missing is the only thing missing was like he didn't check his watch. He's like, he's our coach now.
For the moment. Yeah.
And then he says, right after he said Bruce Boudreaux's our coach now, he said something like, "We're probably going to make a change in like 1 to 2 weeks."
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
And then the other thing he mentioned, he said, "I have never been more disappointed in a job I've done than this year."
Well,
and
yeah.
he also mentioned point blank, he goes, "When I got here, I thought we could do some minor type things, minor surgery." He goes, "We're going to need major surgery."
Open hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Major surgery.
But also
Open
now
hot.
too, like if you're a player, like so now you
Gotta hear
officially
that from the GM?
officially, well, Presidente of Hockey Ops.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
If you are a player, how are you not calling your agent and going, "Get me the hell out of
Trade me
here"?
right fucking now.
Yeah.
And there was talk that Brock Besser needed a change of scenery. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I know he's had a really
You
rough
think?
go of things the last couple of 2 years in Vancouver with everything. So that's been rough on him. But like he's not even getting going now that he kind of got a fresh start under Bruce and everything. So like I feel for a lot of players on that team. And now, like they said, essentially outside of Pettersson, everyone is up for grabs. So that's Hughes, Demko, Besser, JT Miller. Oh yeah, who's signed now for a long-term deal. Like there's a lot of things they need to figure out. Lot of things. Not good things either. Very bad things. I actually was saying to somebody last night, I can't remember. I was kind of like aggravated because I was like, I kind of wish the Pens still had a dude like Jim Rutherford at the helm, because like the Penguins are win 6, lose 6, win 2, lose 3, win 5, lose 3. Like very up and down, very inconsistent. Like he would have pulled a trigger, done something, change it up.
They
Like,
usually
I
get
kinda-
hot towards playoffs though.
They do.
What single move are you going to do that fixes that though?
I'm not saying they do. Yeah. Well, they made, in my opinion, one extra move than they needed to do in the offseason. And everyone keeps saying, like, oh, as long as you got Sid and you still have the window open. But, like, do they really? I'm saying this is a
No.
and I'm being
it's not. No. That's not what they're saying. It's not what I say. What I say is, as long as you have Sid, you have to keep trying. You
Yeah,
have
to put something around him. I fully agree.
You have to keep trying. It's not that the window's necessarily open or closed or whatever. It's that if you have that player and he's still at the top of his game, like I don't care what anybody says. I was watching him
a stud
tonight. Like he was still at the top of his game.
He moves
like,
very well, his vision, everything. Yeah.
Like come on.
Exactly.
You still have to try. You have to try to make the playoffs, and you have to be maybe not a contender, odds wise or whatever, but you have to make an attempt every year that he's still playing and is still playing at that level. I mean, it's the same thing with Washington. As long as Ovechkin is going the way that he is, like you have to try. It's a disappointment if you don't, because if you don't get those players the chance to play for championships, like that's a shame. Like
it's not necessarily that the window is still open. It's that it's definitely not closed. That's
Right.
really what it is. It's that you got to try. You got to put forth the effort. I agree completely.
Yeah. It just reminded me a little bit like the Ravens lost last night to the Bengals, which is awesome. And last week, I guess, at the end of the regular season, a reporter asked Joe Burrow, like, hey, how long do you think the Bengals window is open? And he just looked at the guy dead eyed and just goes like, as long as I'm here, our window's open. I was like, hell yeah. I love that. I like kind of, I mean, as a Steelers fan, like I'm not a big Bengals guy, but like the fact that Cincinnati has a dude who's finally confident in himself versus like Andy Dalton, who was just like, oh yeah, we did okay. Like, yeah, it's great. It's kind of cool to see like young swaggy dude just go in. Yeah, I just think like for me as a Pens fan, I'm kind of like, I know what our farm system looks like, and even the Caps too. Like they're very similar. Like they followed a very similar trajectory, both teams.
Yeah.
And you can say whatever you want, like about the Pens have 3 cups to the Capitals 1. I would argue to some extent, like both teams both got beat by Montreal that year when the East was essentially completely wide open. They both have multiple years of first round exits against teams they should have waxed.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
it could easily be 4 cups for for Washington and 0 for the Pens.
It could. And I
could
would
be
argue
either
some
way.
of the complementary pieces they both decided to bring in to support their core, that has been kind of the biggest thing.
For 3 years, whoever won
That
the
series
series between the
Yep.
two of them
yes.
won the Stanley Cup.
Won the Stanley
So
Cup.
Correct.
if one of those years goes the other way, right? Like it's a
One
different
bounce.
it's a different
Mhm.
balance, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all it takes.
How many game 7s were involved in that?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a bounce or 2 away from being completely
Right.
different story.
And that's
Yeah.
the playoffs, right? Like, but that's also why
Exactly.
when you still have these generational talents on your roster, and even though they're older now, like Ovechkin's 37, right? Like, even though they're older, they're still producing, and you still have to figure out a way to get those players into the playoffs because you never know what's going to happen. You never know how a series is going to go, how the puck's going to bounce off somebody's ass and go in the net, and you're going to win an overtime, and then all of a sudden you move on to the next round that you had no business moving on to. Like, shit happens. Like, so just get them in the playoffs. Get Sid in the playoffs. Get Ovi in the playoffs. Get Connor McDavid in the playoffs, please.
Yes.
Edmonton,
Yes.
like, stop
Dear
sucking.
God, get
Like,
that guy in the
like,
playoff.
figure it the fuck out, please. Like, that's another dude in Kenny Holland that probably needs to lose his job, but whatever.
You're fired. Yeah.
Yeah. But get these. Colorado's got to figure it out here coming out of injuries.
But the guys they have there, think about it though. I will say Colorado, like they were going through it, but like the one guy who has not been hurt has been Rantanen, and he's attempting everything in his power to get them where they need to go.
Yeah.
So I kind of also like, not saying it buys them a year or anything, because that's not the way the NHL works. They won the cup last year, so like if they get to the dance, great, and they lose whatever. Obviously, everyone on that team, they probably are like, we want to be the new Tampa.
Yes.
So
and by all rights, they should be.
they should be. They have the core.
Yes.
They have a very
And
good
that-
coach who understands that team well. And
But what I'm saying is get McKinnon in, get Landeskog in, get Rantanen in, get Cale Makar in, get them in the playoffs, get those type of players in the playoffs, and you never know what's going to happen.
well, Colorado,
So-
they have games in hand against a lot of those teams. So
They should be okay.
Yeah, they should be
And that
okay.
division is not, whatever. It's the West is sort of winnable.
yeah, I mean, I think like Vegas is very good. Colorado's very good. Winnipeg's very good. Dallas too. Minnesota's up and down. I like LA, but they have clear goaltending issues. Outside of Phoenix Copley, who's came in and like saved them.
Great.
Yeah. And then Seattle. I like Seattle, but like part of me is like they're ahead of schedule.
No.
They're ahead.
This is a streak right now. They're just having a good. They're having a good month.
They're ahead of schedule. I like that. Yeah.
They are. They are. No, they really are. Like because
that.
If you think about it, like
yeah.
they're still developing. Like I guarantee, like if hypothetically, if they lost a bunch of games and miss out on the playoffs, Ron Hextall, Dave Haxtell, those guys would still feel very comfortable about the way their season's gone.
Yeah.
Because it's like X amount of point improvement from last season, and they realize like a lot of it's just about growth. So like between Matty Beniers, Jared McCann still looks good. Grubauer had a bounce back season. So like, and Martin Jones too, like they found money with that guy. So like they're doing everything the right way. You know, Shane Wright's back in the CHL. So yeah, they're doing great.
That was a dig.
So
a little bit of a dig.
That was a dig.
What?
Mr. Poo Poo Pants?
What are you talking about? Huh? What? Connor Bedard will probably score more tomorrow, even though they don't have a game, than Shane Wright has like for the rest of the season.
All right, that'll do it for episode 127. Thank you, as always, for your listen. We greatly appreciate all the support we get. Be sure to tell your friends and your teammates about our show, and have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.